Now it's time to bring on our special guest speaker, Miss Marit Hughes, who's going to do some opening remarks around FinOps. Marit,
Hi, John. Thank you for having me. For those I have not met, which given our attendance list is a long list of people, my name is Marit Hughes. I am a specialist master at Deloitte in our government and public sector services practice. What that means is I help state, local, and federal governments here in the US optimize their cloud while meeting the constraints of acquisition regulations, which is about as fun as it sounds. But as you are working through building a FinOps journey in an existing account that you already have, or if you're switching roles, or maybe you're just beginning your cloud journey now, is really understanding the importance of communication and collaboration with your stakeholders. Today, we're going to have a lot of tactical discussions, right? Whether it's about how to optimize your backups, whether it's how to get your engineers to make good buying decisions and everything in between. The reality is, it all will require people to work together and collaborate in a way that is not historically how IT teams have operated. So, for those of you who have been around the block in the on premises world, you know that often teams are working in entirely segregated areas and they're not really collaborating. Or if they do, it's every 2 years. Can I, I need to go buy more servers. And when you move into the cloud, and particularly as you start to build a FinOps practice, the main thing that's going to come up is that you need to start building a coalition. And that coalition is not going to necessarily be the dictators that run your cloud environment, but that coalition needs to be people who are working together to meet this one goal of an optimized, cost efficient, productive cloud environment. I'm known for some of the weird analogies that I pull up out of the thin air sometimes to explain stuff. And it's hard to come up with a really good analogy that talks about the importance of building out your culture in your practice. And one of the ways I think about it is when you're making any change in your personal life. So let's think about a diet. See, I told you, weird analogies everywhere. If you're trying to adjust your diet, you're trying to break your sugar habit, you're trying to get your 5 vegetables in every day, um, it really is important that you make sustainable changes and not kind of one day say, we're going to change our entire cloud environment and we're going to have all the best tagging and we're going to do all of our backups in the most efficient way, etc. You're going to have to move towards there. And now you're not just changing your diet, you're trying to change the diet of your entire neighborhood, right? It's going to take communication, it's going to take sharing, and it's going to take the meal prep, right? And that meal prep in a FinOps context is really taking the time to plan ahead for what is your priority within your organization. And what your organization's priority is not going to be mine, is not going to be Eric's, is not going to be Steve's, right? Because each organization has their own priorities, and your successful implementation of FinOps will be understanding what your organization's priorities are. For those of you that are working in a managed services provider, perhaps working in a consulting practice, it's not going to be just your priorities. It's going to have to be your client priorities as well. And all of that comes back to that communication and culture, right? So, working with your engineers about how do you incentivize them to make good buying decisions. Working so as you're getting ready to implement a new application that you are already thinking kind of on day one and working with your architecture teams about how can you schedule their build environments to turn off nights and weekends. Communication, communication, communication. And then the less fun part, building the documentation that goes on top of that communication and culture. Because we've all left a meeting saying we all agree on our path forward. But that's just conversation, and getting those things implemented and documented are how you sustain that culture going forward. So I'm about out of time. One of the things I encourage as everyone sits through our sessions today, there are going to be moments that maybe do not apply to you and your organization today. Still pay attention, remember the things, take the notes, save the links, because at some point it might be 3 months from now, it might be 6 months from now, it might even be a year from now. Something that was mentioned today will become your organization's next big priority.
All
John,
right.
I think that's my
Yep.
time.
That's awesome. That was actually perfect timing. Time to bring Rory back on because we're going to be having a complete and awesome magic trick showing. Let's see. Can we get Rory? There he is. Rory, welcome back.
Hey, thanks, John. Hi, Marit.
Hi.
Marit, it's actually great what you said. So if you don't know, my name is Rory Wheeler, and for a long time I did magic and mentalism, but now I'm actually an interpersonal communication expert, and that's how John and I met. So it's interesting that you say communication, 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 and I want to play a little game with you, Marit, and we're going to try and illustrate great communication.
Okay.
So let's do it. We're going to do a little perception test first. Okay. And
Okay.
this is simple. How many cards do you see, Marit?
I see 5 cards.
5 cards. That's excellent. So high five. You're off to a great start. Here we go. So I'm going to spread these out. Okay. And I just hold them up. I want you to think of one of those cards. Okay.
Okay.
You have one in your head?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. And how many choices? We'll use this one. How many choices did you have, Marit, out of the 5?
Do you mean how many did I think about choosing?
Yes.
I thought about 2 of them.
Okay. And which one did you go with?
I went with the 4 of clubs.
4 of clubs, but you thought of
the spade, the triangle one. Yeah.
You sure?
Sorry. Yes.
You didn't.
One with the looks like a shovel.
Which one did you think of going with?
The queen.
The queen. It's interesting because we said we were going to do a little perception test. I went with the 3.
Yep, that was the one on the front.
But then I also had another 3. And then I had another 3.
3.
And then another 3.
Yeah.
And another 3. So I don't know what you were watching, but that's okay. Because now I understand how you process information, which is great because I tried to force you to think of the 3, but you're a very independent thinker, yes?
Something like that.
Part. Most people don't think about their choices when they make them. So, for example, I'll take a little coin like this. Now, this is my left hand, and this is my right. This is my right, and this is my left. Which hand do you think the coin is in, Marit?
Your left.
So this one. This is my left. Yeah. Would you bet $100 on it?
No, because I've learned one thing from all those Vegas trips for reInvent: never bet cash.
You would want $100. That's okay, because I know that you're an independent thinker, so I had to put it to the test. But we're not going to use a poker flip, okay? Because we're not going to do the Vegas thing. And we're going to do something much more difficult. This is a game called the Wheel of Fortune. Now, this matters. I'll show you why. Because right here, underneath this bag, is a broken beer bottle.
Okay.
Yes? And under here is nothing, but I'm going to start to spin the wheel. Like that. Now, I don't know which one the beer bottle is going to be under, and you don't know which one the beer bottle is going to be under. But the beer bottle is going to be under one of them.
Okay.
So, take the bags like this. Get rid of this. Marit, what you choose is going to determine the whole show for me.
Okay.
I'm going to smash whichever one you choose.
Okay.
Okay? So listen, this is not like worth $100. This is worth my hand. This is my career. So there's no pressure on this, Marit.
Okay, so somebody's got an emergency kit in the space with him, right?
Now, I have missed this, Marit. Either time.
Okay.
All right. Do you want me to smash the right hand, or do you want me to smash the left?
The left.
All right. Do you want me to smash this one?
Yes.
Fair choice. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I don't have a Mac, so you're not getting the big celebration icons.
Wait. I'll do it for him.
Merit. Yes. Thanks, everyone.
That was awesome. Marit, thank you so much for the opening remarks. Thank you so much for joining for this session. I always appreciate, sitting down, talking with you, not only about FinOps, AWS billing, because, you and I have worked together for a number of years, but I really appreciate you just joining and providing everybody some information to get started in FinOps.
Yeah, absolutely. And for everyone who is wondering about the connection between Magic and FinOps, sometimes trying to make those calls on what the best decision is feels a little bit like telling a stranger to slam their hand into glass. So, but you've got to bring the research and have the conversations.
That's awesome. Thank you, Marit. Once again, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the speakers.